Well, each week, a group of insiders joins me to offer perspective on some of the week's top stories. This week, sounding off on how Indiana actually making progress in lowering opioid prescriptions. Ball State releases quality of life rankings for every county in the state, and there's a rush to fill cybersecurity jobs in Indiana. Our insiders this week are UND Associate Professor of Finance Matt Will, also Harmless Consulting's Mike Harmless, and Ice Miller, partner in charge of client relations, Melissa Profit. And welcome one and all to the Insiders for another edition. A story that kind of broke late in the week. The U.S. Department of Agriculture announced plans some months ago, Melissa, to relocate two key agencies out of Washington, D.C. To other locations in the country. Indianapolis, the Kansas City region, Raleigh-Durham, 3 finalists. Indianapolis, Indiana, actually Purdue had a slot too, went to Kansas City. Surprising?
I was surprised and very disappointed. I think it makes total sense to move out of D.C. for all the reasons they express, for economic reasons and being close to the locales where agriculture really occurs. But when you look at what Indiana, along with Purdue, has to offer, our Agrinovus experience and exposure, as well as the FFA, Purdue, I was surprised and disappointed.
Seemed like a lot of things lined up. You mentioned Agrinovus, all the momentum behind that initiative. Plus, it would have meant, I think, between the two agencies, 600 jobs in those two agencies in this food, ag, bioscience space. A lot of potential, but Kansas City got the nod.
Yeah, I mean, it would obviously would have had a huge impact on the state and all the localities. And you know, I'm sure Mitch Daniels is very disappointed because just like Melissa said, I felt like we were going to get it.
Yeah.
You know, but the positive spin on this is, if you look at it, we're the finalists for Amazon, we're the finalists for the USDA. Indiana keeps getting to the finals, and yeah, we're not batting 1,000, but that's okay, because we're making progress, and you're not going to see other states always in the finals like we are. And I think that's impressive and says a lot about the leadership in the state of Indiana.
And won some big ones like Saab and some of the other big investments in recent months. Shifting gears a bit to a big challenge for the state of Indiana and many other states around the country, and that's the opioid crisis, really, that has been gripping the state. Actually, some positive news, Melissa, out this week that showed that a task force reported that opioid prescriptions in Indiana have decreased 35.1% over the past 5 years. That's 2% higher than the national average. So perhaps some indications that this focus on the issue maybe is paying off.
I think this is huge because we had some really troubling numbers where we were 5th in the nation for drug use. That has gone down 23% in just the last year. And in the number of prescription drugs that have been authorized, down 12%. So we're making huge strides. And I think it's because both the State House and our governor attacked this. They hired a drug czar, Jim McClellan, to be executive director of drug treatment. And they've attacked it from all angles, and everybody's accepted this. So there's 4 key areas that they're focusing on: educating the consumer. And a lot of people are not taking the prescriptions that used to. They'll go with an extra strength Tylenol instead of a narcotic. In addition, physicians, surprisingly, were not knowledgeable. And there's a program out there where they're providing information so that they can look at their patient and see seamlessly the different kinds of drugs that are being prescribed by other physicians. There's laws and regulations that have been passed, so our State House deserves accolades as well as our governor supporting that, dealing with treatment centers. And then in addition, employers are understanding this issue and are well educated. So we are tackling this in a concerted, collaborative effort, and it's great to see results.
Yeah, great from the human perspective, and there's also a business element as well in that regard. Matt, Ball State came out with an update. They have a quality of life index rankings, if you will, for every county in the state of Indiana, all 92 counties. Updated that, last updated in 2012, I think. Your take on that? We talk a lot about quality of life, quality of place, the importance in economic development. How important are these rankings?
Well, the interesting thing about this study is that there's a lot of econometric data. So I can't wait to see the county executives and mayors sort through this. They should call me. I'll help them sort through the numbers. But the meta level on this that I find fascinating is Indiana consistently has high quality of life ratings across the board. People complain about our income being low, but when you adjust for the cost of living and the cost of housing, we jump up in the top 10 in a lot of these rankings. So the quality of life here is great, and it's good to see that we're putting some focus on it. And I like to see this report. Hopefully the numbers can be usable. but it's good to hear.
Is that the key, you think, Mike? These counties being able to actually use the
Yeah, as a
the
former mayor, I mean, I looked at a lot of it, and you'd have all these scores, C minus, B plus, and so how are they going to be able to use it? And if it's not usable, then it's not very helpful.
Yep. An emerging sector in the state of Indiana when it comes to jobs and potential jobs is cybersecurity. A lot of people, it's surprising to a lot of people, but there was data this week. We saw 6,000 cybersecurity jobs are open. 1150 Academy offering new cybersecurity programs to train workers to get into that field. There's a real feeling that Indiana can be a leader, a global leader in cybersecurity.
I think that's without question. Once again, Scott Jones is the visionary that he is. He's come a long way since we were in high school chemistry class together. But you know, they saw a vision that in 2021 there was going to be a crisis in terms of the amount of jobs that we have here, and so they offer a program that's available for part-time and full-time, and they're going to companies, specific Fortune 100 companies, and asking them exactly what do you need, what can we do to have a real internship-like training program that's real and can be readily available to our employers. So to have this kind of workforce available prior to the crisis is great.
An opportunity, real opportunity for jobs, do you think, in Indiana?
And I mean, not just jobs, but also, you know, there's an industry that's forming around this. On June 19th here in Indianapolis, there's a big cybersecurity conference that's going on. So we are not just, you know, doing the things that you're hearing about, but there are initiatives within industry, within, you know, individual companies and job opportunities in the academy. We're kind of finding a niche here, which is another good thing for the state.
Yeah, and quickly too, the sciences, STEM-related fields are really in focus when it comes to jobs and jobs development at public universities, but also private. We had Franklin College on with the new Science Center. Recently, Butler approved a $100 million project, the largest single project on the campus, all focused on a sciences complex and keeping more STEM workers in the pipeline here.
Well, I mean, Butler is really thinking to the future, and they're investing where they need to be investing. I think it was great that they spent a lot of time with industry, talking with them about what their needs were, going out and visiting them, look at their workspaces, and then they're going to incorporate all that into these new facilities. And I think it's a great for Butler and great for Indiana.
Speaking, keeping it with the universities in the state, patents are a big deal at the university level, certainly, and the number of patents granted each and every year. News came out this week from an organization, their annual list of patents granted in the U.S. Purdue and IU did very well. Purdue, number 12, 4 years in a row. The university says it has been granted at least 100 patents. IU came in number 63 on the list. How important, in your view, Melissa, is this kind of information?
It's incredibly significant. Mitch Daniels said in 2012, 2013, let's move our innovation to the public, and that's exactly what they did. And he is ensuring that the intellect and the knowledge and the skill set of our faculty and our students remains within the organization, the university. Purdue's number one in the Midwest, and they're number one in the nation if you don't take into account medical schools. So this is hugely significant. They had 126 patents in 2018. They're also equipping their foundation with the resources they need from a business standpoint. They are having lawyers on site. Our law firm helps assist to help through that process. In addition, marketing and BD, significant part of the patent process. So they get the whole business picture of it, and they're bringing that business element to academia.
All right, with that, we'll call it another wrap for the Insiders on Inside Indiana Business. Melissa Prophet, Mike Harmless, Matt Will, thank you one and all for being here.